the end of a road and a very long journey. Even though I've filmed this all in the same day. I've literally only been sitting here for an hour making these. But I'm going to pretend it's actually been 30 whole days of sitting here, chit-chatting, getting to know me. Stupid stuff. But day 30, my top 2 favorite Pokemon. And you're probably like, oh, why are you doing the top 2? Why not just your favorite Pokemon? Because I feel like I can't talk enough about my 2 favorite Pokemon. Or my favorite Pokemon. I want there to be at least 2. So we're going to start with my second favorite Pokemon, which is Eevee, because who doesn't love Eevee? If you don't love Eevee, you probably murder animals for a living. Just saying, you probably do, because Eevee's adorable. Like, if somebody asked me what my favorite evolution is, I'm probably going to say Eevee. Like, not really. My favorite's Umbreon, but I love Eevee more than Umbreon. Like, Eevee itself is pretty lame if you don't evolve it, but I love Eevee. Its design is very solid, and it has a cool concept around it, and I'm just that kid from the anime. Like, if I can, I'll keep my Eevee the way it is, because I love Eevee. It's adorable. It's like a little pet, and to me, Eevee is kind of like my Pikachu. Like, I'd always imagine that, like, in my Pokemon universe, my trainer, like, he gets to the Professor Rowan's lab late, and Rowan's like, wow, you're stupid for coming in late. Here, I got this freaking Eevee, take it. And then we just go on these crazy adventures, and the Eevee's like the Eevee in Pokemon Adventures, where it's like mutated, and it can switch between all of its different forms, and it's just really cool, and I don't know, I love Eevee. It's a fun Pokemon to just play around with in my head. Like, oh, my Eevee, like, I found an Ice Stone shard. I'm gonna give it to my Eevee, and he can turn into Glaceon whenever he wants. And it's dumb, but I love Eevee. Now, my favorite Pokemon to end off 30 days of Pokemon in the month of June 2017. My favorite Pokemon is Darkrai. Now, I know that's probably weird because I made him like the main antagonist of like the first 5 episodes of Pokemon Mahogany. But I love Darkrai. It's been my favorite Pokemon as long as I've been a Pokemon fan. Like, I didn't have a favorite Pokemon until I learned about Darkrai. As soon as I saw Darkrai and heard his whole thing, I was like, that's my favorite Pokemon. I love that Pokemon. I need that Pokemon. And it wasn't until recently that I was able to get a legit Darkrai, which was the mythical Pokemon events that happened in 2016. That was like the first time I was able to get a legitimate Darkrai. Because by the time I got Pearl, the Darkrai event had ended, and it wouldn't have even mattered because I think it was a GameStop event. And we didn't live by a GameStop. I've never lived by a GameStop. So for me, Darkrai was my Mew. I've mentioned it in a video before. Darkrai was my Mew. He was always that Pokemon I'd heard about. I heard so many stories about it, how amazing he was, how creepy and scary and intimidating he was, and how enigmatic he was, but I could never get to him. Just like with all those Pokemon fans in Mew. You gotta use strength on the car to get Mew. Oh, no, you gotta use this crazy glitch to get Mew. Oh, Mew isn't actually in the game. That was basically the same experience for me. I was always on the internet trying to figure out how to get Darkrai, until my cousin comes to me and is like, here, use this, and he hands me an action replay. Now, I will admit, this was the beginning of my cheater fix. Like,
after you give me the action, I was like, I'm gonna use this thing for everything. I'm gonna cheat through everything. And it kind of, it's why I don't like to count my first 2 playthroughs of Pearl as like my official playthroughs, because as soon as I got that action replay, it was just cheating in and out of everything, and it kind of killed the fun. It was like a problem. Like, I used the action replay into black and white, and it was just like, it wasn't fun. It killed a lot of the fun. It's why I restarted my white version like 3 times. It's just like, no, I don't want to play having cheated so many times. So,
but that was when I was finally able to get Darkrai. I used the walk through walls glitch. I walked to New Moon Island, and I caught Darkrai. I cheated to catch Darkrai too, mind you. So, yeah. But yeah, and I guess the thing that really turned me on to Darkrai, I'm getting a little sentimental here, but I guess the thing that really turned me on to Darkrai, outside of the fact that it was just this Pokemon I could never obtain, was when I watched The Rise of Darkrai. It was the first Pokemon movie I'd seen. Yes, even before the first movie. I'd watched the first movie after I saw Rise of Darkrai, and then I hadn't seen a single Pokemon movie since then. But after I watched Rise of Darkrai, I was like, I love this Pokemon. Because, first of all, if you haven't seen the Rise of Darkrai, you should. It's great. It's like one of the last good Pokemon movies. Because I feel like after, like, Rise of Darkrai, they just kind of, Rise of Darkrai is just a beautiful movie. Like, just the story is, in my opinion, great. Just because everyone hates Darkrai. But despite that, he's still like, I'm going to save this town. Because no matter what anyone says about me, no matter how much they hate me, this town is my home. This town has the one person that cares about me. And that's all I need to want to save this place from the freaking gods of time and space. So I thought that was really freaking cool that Darkrai was just like, I don't care if these people hate me. I'm going to save them because this place is my home. And I don't want to see it thrown into the void. And I don't know. That was just like when I was like, man, Darkrai, you're freaking great. You're an amazing Pokemon. You're so great. And it's kind of the reason why I kind of get super offended sometimes when people say Darkrai is an evil Pokemon. Like, it's kind of like why I don't like Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky, because Darkrai is a bad guy in those games. But excluding those, I just kind of get offended when people are like, oh, Darkrai is an evil Pokemon. It's like, no, shut the muck up. You don't know nothing about Darkrai. Darkrai's a hero, damn it. He saved the world. And he sacrificed himself, even though he came back to life somehow. I don't know how Darkrai came back to life. I think it's just because Dialga and Palkia restored everything they disintegrated or whatever. Maybe that's how he came back to life. I don't know why Darkrai came back to life. But he sacrificed himself to save a bunch of people who hated him. And that's like one of the most admirable things you could do. So, Darkrai. The best Pokemon there is. No contest to me. Darkrai is great. I love it so much. And I guess that's why I kind of made him the main antagonist in Pokemon Mahogany for those first few episodes. Just because, like, it kind of put a spin on Darkrai to me. I made him a bad guy, even though I'm vehemently against him being a bad guy. So, I don't know. Maybe that's why I did that. Just because I wanted to put Darkrai in there somehow. So, yeah. Freaking love Darkrai. It's definitely my favorite Pokemon, and I'm glad I finally get to have a legitimate Darkrai in my Gen 6 games, and soon Gen 7 games once I get Bank back, or whatever, if I'm ever going to do that. I don't know. But Darkrai. This is getting redundant, but Darkrai is my favorite Pokemon of all time. I love Darkrai. Darkrai. Anyway, that was 30 Days of Pokemon, and I enjoyed it. I had a fun time making it, so I hope you had a fun time watching it. This isn't my outro, but I don't care. I'm John Mahogany, and I will see you all whenever the next video is. Bye.